teams here this afternoon.
Both teams ready to go, and the 88th edition of the Border Battle is officially underway. Minnesota takes it. They're a team that can space the floor real well. McKinney going right to work, and just like that, she stays hot.
Wisconsin plays underneath that ball screen right there and leaves a wide open pull-up J for McKinney.
McKinney has been nothing but prolific for Minnesota her freshman year, coming off a 25-point game, 7 of 12 shooting, just someone who can stuff the stat sheet. Going to be an exciting player to watch throughout this game and the entire season. That's Natalie Leisinger, good from 3. She'll get it back at the wing, and Ronnie Porter, junior point guard, at the controls. Porter gives to Tess Myers. Long midi, no good. Battle for the board. That ball's loose, out of bounds, off of Minnesota.
Good job by Minnesota getting up in the pass lanes right away, contesting every pass, every shot from Wisconsin here in that possession.
That was Tess Myers, transfer from Duquesne on the shot attempt. Provide the Badgers some badly needed three-point efficiency at 35%. Has struggled from inside the arc, though, on the season. Just 16% from 2. Minnesota pushing the pace. That's something they like to do. Now squaring up a 3 and getting it to go is Grace Grolski.
Well, Grolski from Kettle Moraine, Wisconsin, one of the few recruits on this Minnesota roster from the Badger State.
Well, Minnesota, they've been good at getting players from the hometown state. 11 of their 15 players have played in the Land O'Lakes.
Wisconsin getting a little sped up here by Minnesota's pace. Got to make sure they stay disciplined to their style and how they want to play.
Battle, a screen from Hart. Going left, rises over Williams. That one's too strong. Offensive board goes to the Gophers. Now another clean look for Heyer. Don't leave her open.
Yeah, there's an offensive rebound. You can't afford those second chance points, especially in this contest if you're Wisconsin.
Just like what they did against Penn State on the 28th, Minnesota has blitzed their opponent out the gate up to a 8-0 lead in the early goings. That's Carter McRae finding Porter. Shot clock at 10. Porter, a 3-ball. Little too strong, and here comes Minnesota again. That's Battle leading the way. Going right at Tess Myers. Tough shot. No problem for Battle. And an early timeout for the Badgers. What a start.
Great start there for Minnesota. Getting out in transition, taking advantage of mismatches. Got to be happy if you're Plutzuite there.
Badgers got crushed on the fast break. 4-22. And is that Minnesota very good at creating turnovers, rarely give away the ball as well. You got to say, Trey, they are just an incredibly well-coached team, particularly this year.
I mean, it's one of those things, Vince, as a coach, you talk about two things that you can control, and that's turning the basketball over and playing great defense. Minnesota is able to do both of their things, making them a pretty solid team so far thus far.
Minnesota started the game 4 of 5, 2 of 2 from deep. Badgers still a Cheerio on the scoreboard. Williams trying to feed it at the elbow. A nice pass inside, and Hallie Douglas will draw a foul.
That's what you have to do if you're Wisconsin. They're going to throw a lot of doubles at Sarah Williams, give her everything she can handle. So you got to look for the weak side movement and off the ball movement if you're the Badgers, and opening up looks at the rim and even on the perimeter.
And that's something that Sarah Williams has really gotten better at. Just her development has been remarkable throughout her college career. Playmaking was the big story for her. Now second on the team in assists as Douglas gets Wisconsin on the board.
I mean, she really is the all-can-do player. I mean, in points per game, rebounds, assists, she really is the engine that gets this team going, and she's done a fantastic job this season. Like you said, Vince, development is so huge, right? A lot of these times you have players who, maybe the first year doesn't work out or the second year maybe a little slow, but she's stuck with it and been a fantastic job so far in her Badger career.
Douglas hits both the free throws. Wisconsin setting up a bit of a press, not something they usually do. In Minnesota, they ripped apart Penn State's press last time out. Good kick out. Grolski gets a defender in the air. Feed down low. Hart the easy finish.
A little miscommunication there off the ball screen from the Badgers and leads an open look for the Gophers.
Porter feeds Williams. She's triple teamed and a turnover. That's Grolski leading the way. She'll get it back. Open for 3. That time is too strong. First miss from behind the arc for the Gophers tonight. Now Porter the other way. Guarded by Heyer.
Looks to get a little motion here, going a little stagnant on the offensive end.
Porter a kick out. Douglas a 3 from the corner. Too strong. Hart a box out. And able to keep it alive for Minnesota to take over. Wisconsin, their calling card is interior defense, and Sarah Williams tried to put on display right there, but committed a foul.
Yeah, it's one of those tough plays there, Vince. You have a double team in the post, and still the offensive player is able to draw a foul out of it. You want to be able to make them take a tough shot and shoot over the top of you there.
Yeah, pretty blatant foul there. No argument from Williams. Pretty definitive smack to the face there. And that's going to be an important thing for Wisconsin because Williams has – you want to be – obviously, you're going to be reliant on your star players. Never want to be beholden to them, and was what Wisconsin was to Williams at times last year. So keeping her in the game is going to be important.
Absolutely, and you don't want to be one-dimensional, right? You know, you obviously want to have a star player, right? That doesn't hurt in many circumstances, but you want to have other surrounding players that can, bring out the best in that star player as well.
In Wisconsin, they have been better across the board from these players. The role players have definitely stepped up. You can't really classify McCray as a role player. That's how talented she is. Can't earn an assist there off a miss.
Good look there from Riley Cron. Got to get the outside shots falling for Wisconsin to claw back in this one.
Battle finds Grolski. Grolski, a high IQ sophomore. Now on the cross was Rose. Drive inside from Roholski at the cup. Can't get it to go. Out of bounds. And that will be Badger ball.
Yeah, but if you're Minnesota, you like the shot selection they've gotten so far. Really haven't had a ton of tough looks here as the shot clock's winding down. They're being disciplined, being smart, and getting open looks each possession.
And off the bench from Minnesota comes Annika Stewart. What a luxury she is to have. Just 17 minutes a game. She's scoring 12 points a game.
Yeah, she's also 77% from the floor over the last 2 games. Talk about efficiency, Vince.
Giannis Jimenez on the drive, scoop layup, no good. Rebound poked away, and that'll be a foul on the Badgers.
It's a great look there from Douglas Vince, and that's one of those you got to be able to capitalize on, especially early on in these contests. Got to get those bunnies to fall, and those will translate to more confidence stretching out to the outside.
Defense has definitely stiffened up. Badgers 0 for 7. Minnesota, 2-minute scoring drought. Looking to change that is Stewart. Three-pointer won't go. Now the Gophers will reset. Rose inside, feeds Stewart, gets the turnaround bucket.
Pretty jumper there from Annika Stewart. Little turnaround, Jay, and nice little finesse on the rim there.
Stewart shooting .467 from deep. That foul will go on Minnesota. And I'll tell you what, Minnesota got a lot of players who haven't played a ton of minutes. That's just because they've been winning their game so definitively. But I think that when you reach the middle of Big Ten play, Stewart coming off the bench, the flexibility that provides, kind of like playing matchmaker, getting her in when the defenders or when the bench is out on the floor.
Well, absolutely, and the twofold of that is you have an opportunity to build confidence with your players against lesser opponents, right? And they're able to build confidence in their skills and their abilities. So when you get to games like this and deeper into Big Ten play, you have enough depth and bench to be ready to go for whatever the game throws your way.
Wisconsin inbound under their own basket. Williams back in. She'll get it at the block. That's where she likes it. Williams muscling in. Can't get it to go and can't get the rebound as well.
Great look there from Wisconsin. Again, just got to be able to capitalize on your bunnies, folks.
Open three. It's good again. Minnesota firing away to get us going. And right on cue, a turnover for the Badgers. It is 17-2. Just 5 minutes and 40 seconds into this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just complimentary basketball events. They just really don't skip a beat on either end of the floor. You go out and you get a great three in transition and then turn the ball over, just entering into the front court on the other end. Minnesota just getting it done on both ends early in this contest.
Jovana Spasovsky will check in for Natalie Leisinger, the Serbian, in her freshman year. Now Minnesota get right back to work. That's Rose on the feed. Another three-pointer. No good. Now it's Groholski at the wing. Gives to Rose, guarded by Porter. Rose the jab, the cross, ripped away from Porter. That's her calling card on the defensive end. Don't know where she is. I mean, she's probably coming to snatch that away. And now she'll feed Williams inside. Big collision. And Williams hits the deck.
Yeah, that's what Wisconsin's got to do. They want to be able to get out in transition, especially when you have Hart in the game, and try and stretch the floor and get her in uncomfortable positions to be able to capitalize off that.
Wisconsin still earning their 2 points from 2 free throws. Still looking for their first field goal make of the day. Porter, a screen from Williams. Tough jumper, left short. And here comes Minnesota again. Gorolski guarded by Spasovsky. Minnesota working around the outside in the arms of battle. She'll get a screen, working on McCray. 7 seconds on the shot clock. She'll up for a jumper, and it's good. Minnesota 8 of 13 to start this match.
Maya Battle got the hot hand. Stretching all the way down I-39 from Minneapolis to Madison.
And Wisconsin will use their second timeout. What in the world is going on? 19-2. The Gophers have jumped the Badgers.
Now they're down 17. There's no 17-point shot, right? If you're Marissa Mosley, you got to talk about playing one possession at a time and playing your style of offense.
Spasovsky will inbound to Porter. It's been a 9-0 run for Minnesota. Leisinger looking for Williams, who's quickly doubled, has to give it up. Finds Myers, relocate to Porter, and some nice switching from the Gopher defense. One more pass to Leisinger, no good. Spasovsky can't get the board, but it'll be a foul on the Badgers, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you want there if you're Wisconsin. Now, I believe Ronnie Porter missed Spasovsky underneath the basket there. If they're going to double Williams on that last possession, there's great rotation. It had open layup, just got to be able to capitalize on it.
Pardon me, that foul will go on Minnesota. So Wisconsin will get themselves a new 20. Leisinger hands off to Porter around the Williams screen. And she walked with it.
It's great pressure there from Lexia Rose, just making Ronnie Porter having to make a tough pass and just too much for Porter to handle. Fantastic pressure from Minnesota here early. Both ends of the floor, putting pressure on the basket and putting pressure on Wisconsin's offense.
Which is kind of similar to what Minnesota did against Penn State. Just kind of ran away with it early. Want to bring that game 90-54. Spasovsky from the corner. Wisconsin still hunting for that first field goal of the day. Now to be Williams, blitzed again, turns it over again, and Minnesota, their switching has been elite thus far. McKinney work on Spasovsky, inside, tough shot, draws a foul.
Yeah, it's just all this seemingly going the right way for the Gophers thus far. And again, I think when you talk about Vince throwing the first punch and then the next punch and the next punch after, Wisconsin's got to be able to respond with a little bit, a couple buckets of their own, and just haven't had a few to go their way yet.
McKinney at the line currently got some 50, 40, 90 shooting splits, 947 from the line.
Announcers jinx there.
Get your jokes in.
I was just going to say she's shooting 95% from the free throw line, but I guess that's probably going to go down.
Well, did lead the Big Ten going into this game, and coming off, as I mentioned before, a masterful performance against Penn State. The 25 points, 3 of 7 from deep's one thing, but 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block just for extra measure.
Little stat book stuffer there, Vince. How about it?
Leisinger looking to get the offense going. Guard closely by Gorolski. Now Williams on the drive. Won't go. Williams now 0 of 3 in the first quarter. Now at the block, it's hard. Height mismatch. Turnaround shot, no good. Porter with the feed ahead. Williams calling for it at the free throw line.
I think they're throwing higher up there, trying to get a little token box and one here on Sarah Williams, helping heavily off of Spasovsky.
Porter has to give it up. Leisinger lost it, and here comes the Gophers again. Gorolski leading the way. Kick out to Rose. Now they'll get into the half-court set. Another 3. Another bucket. It banks in.
On a Sunday afternoon, Vince. Criminal.
Minnesota can do nothing wrong in a dominant first quarter. 40 seconds left. Wisconsin on the verge of not making a field goal in an entire 10-minute stretch.
Yeah, got to look to get a good look here. A little paint touch, maybe a kick out here. Wisconsin got to get aggressive here.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Vasovsky finds Williams. There comes the double. Williams has to give it up. Finds Porter. Clock running down. Porter, tough shot. No good. But I believe it will be a foul on the Gophers. Porter headed to the line.
Yeah, and Coach Butsuwait pointing at the shot clock there. Just under 1 second left in the shot clock where we drew that foul. Just got to be able to play a complete possession there. Perfection regardless of the score, Vince, from Coach Butsuwait.
There's some tough names in this sport.
Yeah.
But you can't say enough about what Butsuwait has done for this squad year 2 in Minnesota. Had a job at West Virginia, left after 1 year, and although she faced some pushback for that decision, get the opportunity to coach for a Big Ten team with a history of success, seems like she's made the right move thus far.
Yeah, and as a coach, you always, if you're a competitor, right? And you always want to coach for the best and be the best, right? And so this offers an opportunity for her to be able to do that. And so far, Minnesota's been off to a great start, not only in this game, but the season.
Under 10 for the Gophers in quarter number 1. Battle, a deep 3. That one no good. Porter's great to end the shot clock. She'll lob it up. McCrae's got to hurry. No good. Oh, a great fast break sequence from the Badgers, but it has been that kind of. Williams with 2 of those turnovers on the day. Wisconsin did go that first quarter without getting themselves a field goal, and right on cue, it's another turnover. Groholski with the handles, the scoop, and the finish. Grace Groholski taking ankles.
Little shimmy, little shake there from Groholski. Beautiful finish with the scoop shot.
Groholski's got 8 points to get us going. Wisconsin in dire need of a bucket. Did have a 17-point comeback last year against Penn State. Williams opts for the jumper. Won't roll home. Now a long pass. Groholski's got it again. Making Amaya Ball a versatile defender. Now McKinney finds Groholski off the screen. That time's no good.
It's a good look there off the double there from Groholski. He's got the hot hand out for the Gophers.
The Minnesota, their threes have definitely been open so far. Williams, another jumper. Another miss for her. She has developed in that mid-range game throughout her career. Wound up giving the Badgers a win at the Kohl Center last year against Minnesota, in part thanks to a 3-ball, and Hart taking Williams to school in the paint.
Old school textbook finishing move there from Hart. Little up, little under. Daniel Hart giving Sierra Williams all she can handle on both ends of the floor.
Real nice turnout here at the Kohl Center. Lower bowl looked just about full. And right now there has been not much to cheer about for the Badger faithful. Vasovsky will have to let it fly, and she's got it. Badly needed bucket for Bucky.
All it takes is one, Vince. Now you get the Wisconsin folks on their feet.
Wisconsin still shooting 1 for 15 on the game, but that doesn't hurt. Turnover on Minnesota.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens. You get one to go through, all of a sudden you start to feel a little bit of confidence. Hey, we can do this. And turn over the Gophers on the ensuing possession. Good little momentum trending in the right direction for Wisconsin.
Porter guarded closely by McKinney. Porter's got a real quick first step for the Badgers, averaging double digits scoring-wise for them. Spashovsky wants a screen from McCrae. Drives in, tough shot. No good. Now Groholski out to the corner it goes. McKinney on the drive. Nice interior defense from the Badgers, and a foul goes on Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a great job there from Wisconsin. And Ronnie Porter, smallest on the court, getting into the muck of it, fighting for that rebound. Fantastic job.
An interesting storyline in this game is that Porter is a Minnesota native. Grew up following this Minnesota team, and instead had some offers, went to the Badgers in the hopes of being a walk-on. She did exactly that, took over the starting point guard spot last year, and has provided them some real nice passing. McRae, the transfer, gets it back. Oh, in and out, but Spasovsky gets the offensive board. She's giving the Badgers a spark in the second quarter.
It's a great hustle play there from Spasovsky, getting in, doing the dirty work.
Backdoor feed, reverse layup, no good, but a real nice dish from Annika Stewart.
Yeah, fantastic job there from Stewart. Done a nice job contributing multiple facets of the game here early with their passing as well as their scoring.
Two free throws coming up for Tori McKinney. Or pardon me, that's Mallory Hyatt. That's the first one to go.
Hyatt's done a nice job in the points department of the back score. Double digits in 5 out of her last 6, Vince.
Can get a second one, but an offensive board. Stewart goes through, missed the layup, and it will be Badger ball, loose ball foul.
Yeah, Coach Mosley talking to her players now saying we got to box out. A lot of second chance points opportunities for the Gophers, which has led to this large lead so far in this contest.
I can see you're being kind with your words there, Trey, but what's something that has been surprising in this game is that you thought that the area that Wisconsin would be good at is rebounding. Sarah Williams, a double-double machine, broke the Big Ten record for consecutive double-doubles last year. They bring in Carter McRae, who was top 5 in the nation in rebounding, played at the Horizon League last year, but the Badgers, they're down 9-17 in the rebound battle so far.
Yeah, I think it's when you're able to get a team that can neutralize you at something you're really good at. It was when you really kind of find out how good you are at something. And Wisconsin has to answer that call in that department today.
Porter gets on the board. Badgers picking it up here on the offensive end of the floor. Battle guarded by the Wisconsin native Cron. Gets a screen. Long 2, no problem.
Maya Battle seemingly getting everything to fall through. Doing it on both ends, Vince. Just getting up and getting after it.
Known for her defense, but Amaya Battle, she can knock them down as well. 39% from 3 entering this game. Spasovsky. Nice move to get herself some room, but can't get the midi to go. And Porter with the steal. A dish inside. And the layup is good for Hallie Douglas.
Fantastic job running the floor there from Douglas. Porter patient in transition, waiting to find her teammate.
Ronnie Porter, her second steal of the day. Mentioned before, that is her calling card. She is great at stepping into those passing lanes. With her speed, she can get the Badgers some pick sixes as well. Higher stepping through on the drive, but it's a travel.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Vince. I think that's the right move there, but you know, it's a good turn of events for the Badgers here now as they look to get a little bit of momentum here now. 9 points in the first 4.5 minutes, over doubling what they had in the first quarter.
You can see Porter so anticipatory of that pass, and nice feed inside. Almost midway through the second quarter, Wisconsin taking a bite out of this deficit. Still a ways to go for them. Looking for some contributions from Williams. This time it's her stepping in. Oh, and it's no good again. 0 for 6 start for Williams. Entered this game averaging over 17 points a game. And they're going to get, is that going to be Wisconsin ball?
So they got a jump ball there. Vince, a little tie up there under the basket.
Now it'll be a timeout on the floor. Well, Minnesota's a bit.
Yeah, it's absolutely right, Vince. You know, you see one go through and all of a sudden you understand you're playing, turns the game a little more, even more of checkers and not necessarily chess.
Battle going to work on the pesky Leisinger. She'll have to pass out. Now 10 seconds on the clock. Lexia Rose on the drive, working on Porter. Looking for the cross, has to feed it out. And a nice pass, but mid-range won't go for Grolski.
Doug's wide open underneath the basket there.
A little bit hesitant to get to her, and that'll be Williams spinning and winning. Sarah Williams gets her first points in style.
Strong take there from Williams, finishing over 2 defenders there. Great job establishing the physicality.
And Sarah Williams, she just ripped apart Minnesota the last time these two teams played, or I guess in the 2 games they played last year. Shot 71%, scored 54 points in those 2 games, including a 30-point game in Minnesota. She's been held in check so far, but there she is getting the board.
Getting done on both ends.
Douglas finds Williams again, this time a mid-range. She's got it again.
Beautiful turnaround there from Williams. She can do it all inside and outside, stretching the floor for the Badgers.
Sarah Williams heating up for the Badgers. And the lead starting to dwindle a little bit for Minnesota. Wisconsin 13-7 in the second quarter. We'll go to Hart again, working on Williams, who earns her first block. Now Porter getting a screen from her roommate, Sarah Williams. Williams wants it again. She's liking those mid-range shots. Can't get that one to go.
It's a good look there from Williams. I've seen a couple go through. Don't mind that little heat check there. Senior from Brooklyn.
That'll be Hart again. And this time it's a foul.
Yeah, it's just tough when Hart pins it right underneath the basket there. You know, it's within the circle, so he can't get a charge call there and just have to hope that maybe she misses and gets it off the mark.
That's personal foul number 2 for Sarah Williams. She will head to the bench. Now Sophia Hart will be headed to the line. And right now, Trey, the stats are speaking for themselves, but if you're a Badger fan, what's got to stick out most to you is that 6 of 12 compared to the 3 of 8 for Minnesota in that second quarter.
Yeah, and right now, really, it's a tale of two quarters. Wisconsin out scoring the Gophers 13-7 thus far in this quarter. And I think really you just have to be able to settle in and take it one possession at a time here on out.
Second free throw good for Hart. She's had herself a fine offensive performance and just trying to get Williams into that foul trouble. That's almost something that won't appear on the stat sheet as much on who necessarily draws those fouls, but that is as important as any point she can get. McCray, 4th on the team in shots, 2nd in points. She's efficient. Oh, can't get that one. A plethora of missed layups for the Badgers.
Great look there from McCray. Just got to be able to capitalize on those easy ones in the paint.
Now off the drive, what a feed. Shot is up and good. Mallory Heyer, her second 3 of the day.
Beautiful driving kick there and transition, wide open opportunity. Those are the kind of buckets you like to get.
That feels like a bit of a gut punch for the Badgers there. But now Leisinger looking for McCray. She has perfectly complemented Williams. And now Douglas has shot well today. Battle the other way with pace. Feed over the top. Gorolski draws McCray. Now Hart a mismatch on Williams. Uses the gravity to find an open shooter. Battle on the ground. Porter comes away with it. Porter to Meyer. And Porter, you can tell she is in command of this offense, able to recognize the pace, when to go fast, when to slow it down a bit. She's got 13 seconds on the clock.
That's what it's all about for Wisconsin. Capitalizing and playing at your pace, not to that of your opponent.
Wisconsin are comfortable playing at a slower pace as a team that's known for their scoring inside. Speaking of scoring inside, Hallie Douglas getting it done once again.
Beautiful touch around the rim there from Douglas, having a couple go through here. A little momentum on the side of the Badgers.
Douglas averaging 4 points a game. She's got 6 points already, perhaps earning herself some extra minutes. But now it's another 3 from Minnesota. That one left short by Heyer. Under 45 in quarter number 2. Wisconsin down 15. Porter kick out, read well. Minnesota's got it. Turnover number 7 on the Badgers.
It's her 4th on the day, Vince, tying her season high in the first half.
Amaya Battle, 4 of 7, 9 points. Now McKinney working around inside. Scoop layup is good. And that will do it for a half number 1 that was dominated. on the 28 just a couple days ago. They beat Penn State 90-54, just doing all the things you can coach up well. Won the turnover battle 24-12. Outscored the Lady Lions 30-13 in points off turnovers. They're just doing that same formula here. They're winning the turnover battle. They're getting out in transition. But Wisconsin, we mentioned before, they were improved in the middle of that second quarter, but a spurt to end it has deepened Minnesota's lead. Battle looking to continue that theme, but instead her shots offline. Spashowski's seen some minutes for the Badgers this afternoon. Provided them a spark. 5 points, 2 of 4 shooting. And there's Tess Myers getting in on the act, her first points.
Tess Myers doing what she does best, knocking it down from outside, shooting just over 35% from three. Struggling in her last couple contests, Vince, only getting about 2 points per game in her last 3 games.
I think they will mark that one as a long 2. Hart going to work again. No soup for you, says Sarah Williams. It will stay with Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a fantastic job there by Williams, but a frustrating end of that possession where Porter gets it knocked out of her hands and stays in the possession of the Gophers.
Sarah Williams, a block machine. Hart has had some success on the offensive side. 5 points in that first half on 2 of 4 shooting. McKinney can't scoop it over Williams. And Wisconsin got this lead down to 14. A chance to deepen it even further.
We're going to get a little post touch inside here, get Williams getting to work early and often.
Porter, mid-range, no good. Fight for the board, and Hart takes it. We mentioned that rebound differential, probably in large part due to Minnesota just making more shots than the Badgers, but what's not quite as excusable is Minnesota 5-1 leading in the offensive rebound category.
Yeah, you got to be able to win the battle on the glass if you're Wisconsin, even at home. And nice little play there from Leisinger stripping it. It's going to seem like state possession with the Gophers, but you like the defensive intensity from Wisconsin's first minute and a half here. Getting after Minnesota, contesting everything, and bringing a lot of pressure. You can definitely tell that was a point of emphasis in the locker room at halftime.
Yeah, that was a gutsy move from Spasovsky there. Reaching in on a player who's real quick off the drive. Then open down low. Little push shot is good for Grolski.
I can't afford those looks there. Wide open underneath the basket. Got to be able to communicate on that possession. 10
points on 10 shots for the sophomore. Leisinger feeds the Serbian. That one well long, may have been deflected. And now Minnesota 5-on-4 if they hurry. McKinney has to give it up to Battle. And now a mismatch inside. Mouse in the house. But instead it's the Badgers swooping in and taking it away. Porter to Williams. Slows it down. Out it goes. Myers with the 3, but it's left short. Oh, and Tess Myers shaking her head. A chance for the Badgers to get this crowd going in the second half.
Yeah, tough look there from Myers, who saw the first one go through, looking to maybe turn it into 2, but unfortunately for Wisconsin, seemingly the story of this game, not getting open shots to fall.
Tess Myers, the grad student, was 2 of 4 from deep against Indiana, looking to keep that strong shooting performance going. Minnesota looking to do the same, shooting 5 of 14 now with that miss. They shot 41% against Penn State. Williams doubled, has to pick it up, and they'll say it touched off of Minnesota before rolling out of bounds.
Yeah, you see those doubles. Minnesota continues to throw out Williams, and you think if you're looking to adjust to that, some weak side movement to take a little bit of the pressure off Sarah here.
Wisconsin
getting hounded in the post.
Wisconsin won both games against Minnesota last year, in large part due to Sarah Williams, who's 2 for 9 in the first half. She's got it outside. The feed to Douglas. Oh, a double feed from the Badgers. Back-to-back nice passes. Turning up the good shot for the better one is Hallie Douglas.
Fantastic movement there from Wisconsin on the weak side. A little give and go. Easy look for Wisconsin.
Stewart, she's a great three-point shooter, and she proves it right there.
Stewart missing that one on the last possession. Not going to get fooled twice there. Fantastic job from Annika Stewart stretching the floor.
She's got 5 points, go along with 2 boards. Porter at the wing, now Leisinger. Right away, Williams is doubled, and another turnover. Minnesota executing their game plan on defense and doing it on offense as well. Unable to get the and one, but headed to the line is Mallory Heyer.
Great job again from Minnesota pushing in transition, Vincent. Not necessarily in this possession alone, but even when the Gophers aren't scoring in transition, they're getting out enough to force switches, and that's opening up the paint touches and the driving lanes for Minnesota, where they're able to create advantages with those mismatches and leading to easy buckets.
9th and 10th free throw coming up for Minnesota. That's their 4th make on the 9 shots.
Yeah, and that's one of those things outside of the Gophers, quite frankly, dominating this game thus far. Been a little bit of a dark spot is the struggles at the free throw line.
Well, that doesn't hurt. Back-to-back makes from Heyer. She's got herself 9 points on just 3 shots. 2 of 3 from deep, go along with 6 rebounds. That's a 3-point shooter, Cron on the drive. Cron, a nice feed. Porter, she needs it. Can't get it, but McCray the board and a whistle on Minnesota.
It's great position there from McCray on the rebound, pinning Stewart underneath the basket, giving her all the room in the world to secure that rebound, leading Stewart to foul.
And Carter McCray really is the ultimate insurance policy, is a great rebounder. These Badger three-point shooters, 28% last year, 32% this year from behind the arc. But this is a team that can usually collect just a ton of offensive boards.
You know, frustrated Coach Mosey there after that turnover. Just needed a better angle there from Douglas. Entering that slot to block pass with the bounce pass is incredibly tough. Maybe stretch that out to the wing there. Make it a little easier for yourself.
Turnover number 10 for the Badgers. Rays look like they were whittling that lead down. Minnesota a chance to get it back up to 20. Stewart, a travel.
Yeah, a little hop off of the catch there from Stewart before she put the ball on the deck.
Right now in the third quarter, Minnesota outscoring the Badgers 5-0. Wisconsin was able to get it down to a 14-point deficit. But right now, Minnesota just kind of milking the clock, keeping the pace. They had just themselves a fantastic first quarter, and you definitely have the defensive ability to ride that one to the finish. Williams goes to work. This time she cashes in.
Great patience there, Williams, through that double team, just stepping through and forcing Minnesota to have to let her go there.
McKinney, jab step, 3-ball, no good. Porter to the board. Great box out from Cron, who's limping, heading down the court. Oh, and she will take a seat. Cron on the box out for a rebound and felt like just going back the other way. Could not push through it.
As a coach, you always talk about defense has to travel for you to be a championship team, right? That's something that's night in, night out. You know, you're going to have shots that don't always fall, that aren't going to go your way, but defense is something that, you know, you can take advantage of in each contest. And Minnesota, again, night in, night out has done a fantastic job, and that's been on full display this afternoon.
Minnesota playing their starters heavy minutes. They've had a lot of depth this year, more so due to the amount of garbage time they've played in with how definitive their victories have been. But this rotation, you can see it's definitely stiffened up a little bit, rolling with just about 7 throughout the majority of this contest. Porter, 7 seconds on the shot clock. She'll show off the handles. Now finds an open shooter. Left short, out of bounds, go for ball.
Yeah, tough break there from Wisconsin. Thought that maybe would stick with the Badgers, but again, another opportunity not being able to capitalize for Wisconsin there.
We'll have a timeout on the floor right now for Minnesota. Done a great job spacing out the scoring for holding this Badger program.
Yeah, and you see that through the winning improvements in each of her first 4 seasons, from 5 wins to 8 wins, 11 wins to 15 wins last season, which was the best for Wisconsin in over 10 years. You know, it takes time, Vince, but you like to see the direction that the Badgers are heading. It just unfortunately hasn't been represented in this game thus far.
And right now, Badgers are 10-3. Strength of schedule 104 in the nation out of 362 qualified D1 squads. So they played themselves some nice teams. They've taken care of business. But now in Big Ten play, it's always a little trickier. They did earn a win at home against Rutgers to start the conference season, but did struggle against Indiana. Williams off the deflection. Finds Porter wide open for three. No good. Williams can't secure the board, but it will stay with Wisconsin.
Yeah, a couple tough looks there from Porter thus far from outside. 0 of 3, 31% on the season. You like to think mathematically that last one would have gotten her to fall, but tough look from outside thus far from tough shooting day for the Badgers.
I can tell you're not a math major, Trey.
That is not. My dad was a math teacher, though.
Ooh.
So it runs in the blood somewhat. 50%.
2 of 11 right now for the Badgers from deep. That is 18%. And another turnover is her name as well. That's number 11. Amaya Battle going the other way, crossing the logo towards the cup, and now she'll slow her down. 3:40 left, quarter number 3. Battle rises, gets blocked by Williams. She's headed the other way. Porter flying down the court, and an awkward bounce winds up with Williams. Porter relocates to the top. Now swooping in under the basket, goes up, draws the foul. Can't get the tough shot to roll.
Great positioning there by Ronnie Porter, initiating the contact, first forcing Grocholski to kind of put her body back into her, drawing the foul.
Right now, Porter got 6 points on 2 of 7 shooting. Here's a stat for you, though. Right now, she's got 7 rebounds on the day. That's second of all players, with the exception of Sarah Williams, who's got 8.
Can't question the heart of Ronnie Porter, Vince, regardless of whether or not that's resulting, in points and, however else that may be accounted for in the game, but she's truly given it all out there tonight. And you've seen that in the last couple games. In the last 4 games has recorded at least 38 minutes played. So she is the iron horse of this Badgers roster here.
And I think it's worth sticking on that stat for an extra second there, Trey, because she's the point guard as well. Like, she's flying around, she's dishing past, she's getting on transition. So it's not like that she's not an active player and she's playing a lot of minutes. She's just got impeccable stamina. Right on cue. She's headed to the bench for a quick rest.
Yeah, again, it's been a fantastic job. When you're doing it on both ends, you sometimes have to wear down and catch your breath once in a while.
Inside they go to Hart. Tough shot, no problem. Sophie Hart on the day, 7 points, 3 of 6 shootings, 4 rebounds to her name. Spassowski's seen some extra minutes, 14 in this game. Same goes for Douglas, who's got 16. Douglas working in the post, had a mismatch. That's a double dribble.
It's a frustration there from Hallie Douglas, just getting surrounded and trying to make a play. Unfortunately, you pick that dribble up, Vince, you can't put it back down.
That's why you're the best in the biz, Trey.
Well, I mean, just call it how I see it, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah. No, I'm just messing with that. How's your, I talk about you being the coach. I mean, how's your team looking so far? What's your record 5 games in?
I mean, we're 2-3. Got a big win last night on the road, but young team. We're learning and growing, which is good. Improving every day.
Hard on the mid-range, won't go. Now it's Tess Myers pushing the pace. She'll slow it down, give it to the secondary ball handler, Deanna Jimenez. Showed some real flashes her freshman year. Has impeccable driving ability, one of the better handles on this team. Now Leisinger, a little too much contact from Minnesota, and that'll put a foul on the Gophers' ledger.
Yeah, and you've seen the second half, Vince. Not a ton of McCray and Williams playing together. That these lineups from Mosley have mostly been one or the other, and interested to see maybe they're trying to counter Minnesota's size with some more guard play, but I guess we only know so much.
Williams only 19 minutes. McCray just 13. Yeah, you make a good point there. Not usually the number of minutes they play these bigs for the Badgers, but maybe trying to go small against this Gopher unit. Williams looking for some options. Instead, she'll go to work and try to do it herself, but an extra step. Turnover number 6 now for Sarah Williams, coming off of a 5-turnover performance against Indiana.
Yeah, just frustrating. Minnesota throwing everything they can in the kitchen sink at Sarah Williams, and just getting a little sped up here thus far this afternoon.
13 turnovers for the Badgers. Minnesota has earned 10 points off of them. Hart through contact, +1.
Fantastic patience there from Sophie Hart. Little shot fake, finishing through contact. She's been the X factor, I think, for the Gophers this afternoon. Just big presence inside, taking up the paint on both ends of the floor, and Wisconsin really just doesn't have an answer for her, Vince.
Sophie Hart, 6'5", senior from Farmington, Minnesota. And we talked about in the open how Sarah Williams played her off of the floor when these two teams matched up last year. But I think it's kind of see the flip side where no one on Wisconsin outside of Williams can guard Hart. So whenever they get Williams to the perimeter, Minnesota has really done a nice job of going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's going to double there from Badger. Got to be a quick pass there out from Williams. Beautiful.
Williams soars in, can't get it, but follows through and earns the bucket. Sarah Williams up to 8 points on 11 shots.
Yeah, no, it's deceiving, Vince, because she started 0 for 6, but 4 out of her last 6. Been efficient after you go from the first quarter.
Meanwhile, a real impressive finish from Tori McKinney, adding to a strong showing for her, 7 points.
It's been really a balanced scoring attack for Minnesota. They have, Groholski has 10, but 3 players with 9 points, and the likes of McKinney with 7.
Porter, another miss from behind the arc. 0 for 4 now from that department. Minnesota, 2 for 1 if they hurry, but we'll have to slow her down. Now McKinney finds room on the cross. Can't find Paydirt. Shot clock turned off for the Badgers. Minnesota's outscored the Badgers 13-11. Got to think that Bucky could really use a bucket here if they intend to work themselves back into this game. Porter with 3 on the drive, steps through contact, tough shot, no good. And Minnesota, another impressive quarter for them. And looked like it went pretty well in year number 1, able to bring back all the players. And so often you see that Trey, a bit of an exodus when you got a new coach, but Blizzowite did a great job of keeping those best players around. And although they started 15-3 last year, ended 2-11 in Big Ten play, but was able to kind of vanquish some ghosts against Penn State. Penn State took down Minnesota 90-34 last year to end the regular season. But as we touched on before, Minnesota returned the favor last week, 90-54. And that's how we know. First time they played Penn State last year, it was 90-34, and then 90-54 win for the Gophers.
Yeah, I think that's, it's a sign of a good team, right? And a good coach and a good program that's heading in the right direction when you can obviously avenge it in that way. In Minnesota, again, has been a program that historically has been, at the top of the Big Ten, and at the likes of Blizzowite now have kind of trended back in that direction.
Wisconsin able to navigate that defense right there. Hallie Douglas, a fine performance for her. 8 points for the Badgers. Tied with Williams and Porter for a team high.
It's been a great spark off the bench. Not a ton of production, as much as I should say you would like from the likes of McCray and Williams, but Hallie Douglas has showed up and offered a nice spark off the bench today.
Right on cue at Douglas, dinged up with the foul, got in the way of Hart a little bit. And Minnesota will inbound under. And it is worth mentioning that Penn State in that game, they did look just lost. 4 of 23 to start. They had a 10-second violation with 9:05 left in the second quarter, and there was just no pressure from Minnesota. And then a 3-second violation 4 minutes later. So Penn State just totally thrown off their game, but you got to say, Trey, that's just what good defense can do sometimes.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you're not always going to be great, right? But if you bring energy, you bring great attitude and great effort, you can definitely impact the game in numerous ways. And there's the mental side of it, Vince, I don't think is talked about enough. When you bring that attitude and energy and effort, that can really throw the team off of their game. And, they start seeing that, and they don't know what to do, and it speeds them up and throws them out of their sorts.
These two teams exchanging buckets to start the fourth quarter. Going to be an uphill battle for Wisconsin. Have to start on the defensive end. Missed board, and Williams rips it away. Sophia Hart's had a fine performance. Couldn't get that one to go. A feed inside to Leiser. Has to kick it back out. Myers needs this 3. She's got it. Able to wake the crowd a little bit more. Tess Myers getting it done. Her second 3.
Big time shot there from Tess Myers. It's got to be one possession at a time now for Wisconsin.
Lead down to 14. The Badgers did get it to that mark in the third quarter as well, but Minnesota has been always able to respond. Amaya Battle looking to do just that, and gives to Gorolski. Grace Gorolski working on Sarah Williams, and that's a double dribble. You can tell this crowd, they've been itching to come alive at some point this afternoon, and the Badgers, maybe their last chance to wake them up.
Yeah, here we go now. It's 7.5 minutes left to go. This is where you start inching your way closer here.
We mentioned Wisconsin's best quarter is the fourth. But still an uphill battle, to say the least, against a really disciplined defense. Leisinger, nice cut, nice finish! Natalie Leisinger, her first points of the battle. Some pesky defense, and Minnesota needs a timeout. She gets her first free throw.
Yeah, and it's just been the productivity of Stewart when she's been in the game, just impacting the game in numerous ways, the offensive and defensive end, making her presence felt in the short time she's been out here.
Well, Minnesota needed some points. They get exactly that. 2 free throws good from the grad student. Now Porter, the Minnesota native, draws Gorolski, and she'll have to give it up to Leisinger. Douglas to Williams. Williams through contract out to the corner. Leisinger is open. Too strong. And the Badgers now 3 of 14 from deep. Ooh, tough foul on Myers.
A couple quick ones there from Tess Myers. But again, if that doesn't take that foul there, it's going to be an open layup there from higher. So I guess you could call it a smart foul, Vince.
Third foul on the Badgers in the fourth quarter. Last thing they want to do is put Minnesota in the bonus, so they have not been particularly perfect from the line, 7 of 13. McKinney to Battle. Jumper is pure.
Beautiful looking jump shot there from Battle. Just loving that mid-range in the afternoon, and has been really capitalizing off of that.
Amaya Battle, 11 points, leading both teams, tied with her teammate Hart. Williams blitzed again, gives to Porter. Fakes on the 3, now off the drive, out it goes. Myers can't get that one. Williams can't corral the rebound, out of bounds. It will stay with the Badgers. 5:44, 16-point lead for Minnesota. And it just feels like that Minnesota in the second half where they struggled last year, they just have defensive ability to really run out the clock. Porter's got to get it in. Now Williams, turnaround jumper. She's got it.
Second time she's knocked that down today, Vince. Again, just a beautiful touch around the rim from Sarah Williams, and being able to stretch it out in the mid-range has been a nice asset for the Badgers this year.
12 points for Williams, not her most efficient showing. Oh, and right to the cup is McKinney, blowing by the reigning Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, drawing that mismatch and using speed over size there from Battles. Beautiful finish there with the scoop shot.
Williams gets the defender in the air temporarily. Douglas with 10. And it's ripped away from Porter. McKinney flying away on the fast break. Wisconsin able to get back. Battle. Double teamed. Out it goes. That's an open 3. Williams the rebound. Williams at the elbow. Fakes the mid-range. Relocates. And another bucket for Sarah. She's got 14 on 15 shots.
Make that a double-double for Sarah Williams once again. Got off to a little bit of a slow start here, Vince, but has played 3 quarters of very good basketball.
And then we'll get ourselves a foul called on the Badgers. And it's kind of funny about Williams. You consider this to be a poor performance from her. Still got 14 and 10, but right now 6 turnovers loom large for her.
Yeah, it's been the poor start, I would say. You know, you go 0 of 6, but now
some real big nationally televised games. Wisconsin 10-3, but in the Big Ten, life comes at you fast. So these next couple games are going to determine if this is going to be a step forward for the Badgers this year or a leap forward.
got a timeout here for the shot clock, maybe.
They'll say Minnesota will call time. We'll take a look at their upcoming schedule now. And yeah, similar story. Got some 2 home games coming up, potentially winnable games at that. And then Maryland looms large for everyone in the Big Ten. They're having a great year.
It's a fantastic job. This is a program in Maryland historically that's been at the top dog of the Big Ten. And, you know, you maybe think about Minnesota and maybe being able to contribute at the likes of a top of the Big Ten. Don't want to maybe get there too soon, but perhaps this is a team, as we've seen this performance today, and, you know, in a couple of their games this season have definitely shown that they can compete and are willing to maybe take that next step from when they were last year.
Well, Minnesota did not have the toughest out-of-conference schedule in the bottom 33%, I believe, in strength of schedule across the nation. But look, you're on your way to 14-1 if you can hold on to a win here, and they're just blowing teams out. So right now they're looking like the team they want to be. And that will be a loose ball foul on Minnesota.
Yeah, it looks Minnesota to be a little frustrated on that one there.
Well, 4 minutes left in this game. Do or die now for the Badgers. I'm sure after this game they'll be kicking themselves. Feels like they've played Minnesota fairly close since that first quarter, but that first quarter was an absolute bloodbath. 23-4 for Minnesota, but Wisconsin made their last 3 shots.
Yeah, Badgers kind of find a groove here. You just wonder if it's too late for Wisconsin.
You know, nothing to do but play on, battle to higher. 10 on the shot clock. Battle guarded by the pesky Leisinger. Battle a step back, mid-range, rolls out. And a great offensive rebound. Minnesota can milk more time off the clock. Hart going to work over Williams. Floater no good, offensive rebound, back up and a foul.
Yeah, I see the frustrated Sarah Williams there, and got to be able to box out and secure that rebound. The second chance points have been crucial for the Badgers this afternoon and to the benefit of the Gophers.
You can't say enough about the job that Sophie Hart has done for Minnesota. Got herself 11 points, just a bit over 50% from the line. Wisconsin begging for some misses. We'll get at least one. But it was worth questioning. We touched about perhaps ad nauseum that Hart did not play her best basketball, particularly on the defensive end against the Badgers last year. But you look at how Sarah Williams has struggled, and she has definitely played her part. That said, 2 missed free throws, and the Badgers come up no worse for wear. Porter driving in, tough shot, she's fouled. Just under 3 minutes left. Wisconsin's going to need an extended run. You can really see Porter starting to come alive in this game. Talk about how she's a Minnesota native, taking that team she used to follow. And she said in the past that you're taking on Minnesota, so there's going to be a little bit more juice involved. She needed that one right there.
Yeah, those are the ones you can't afford to miss down the stretch of a game like this.
10 points, 3 of 11 shooting. Misses them both, and Minnesota comes away with it. Now Porter looking for a steal on the other side, and Minnesota looks content to milk some clock here. The closing minutes. Gorolski guarded by Spasovsky. She'll relocate, and now drive in. Gorolski blows by Williams, can't get the layup. Williams secures the board.
Tough look there from Gorolski. Great take and unable to finish that.
Spasovsky, clear she thought about a 3 instead. She'll give it back to her point guard.
Wisconsin's got to go here. Vince, down 12, 2 minutes left. A little bit of urgency.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Leisinger looking for some room. Swooping in. Turnaround tough shot. No good. Great possession from Minnesota. Feeding it well ahead. And the easy lay-in in transition. Grace Gorolski may have slammed the door shut by leaking out.
Simple leak out there from Gorolski, just getting out in transition. Great finish.
Williams fouled by Hart. Minnesota 1 for their last 7, and after a blistering hot start, shooting 40% for the game, 23-57, 6 and 19 from deep. And another thing Wisconsin's going to be kicking themselves for in this game, 20% from deep, 3 of 15. They got to a nice start on the season, but it's definitely cooled off for them a little bit here.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things you talk about, Vince, where it's all about the strength of schedule, right? Wisconsin, that necessarily hasn't been an easy schedule comparison to Minnesota, but maybe some of these stats can be a little bit inflated depending on the game, where you're at, and who you're playing.
Well, Williams does her part, makes them both. And that lead has stayed in double digits since the first quarter. Battle slowing it down again. Another strong performance for her, particularly on the defensive end. And out it goes. McKinney around and out. Giannis Jimenez on the floor for the Badgers. Leisinger, it's a deep 3. Too strong. Wisconsin put some pressure on it, but Minnesota's navigated it well. They have done all the little things well this afternoon, has culminated in what's looking like a border battle victory.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things, Vince, where you get up to such a big lead and put yourselves in such a hole where Wisconsin just playing from too far from behind the rest of the way.
Jimenez is fouled, and it's worth mentioning for Minnesota, what makes their 13-1 start so impressive is that they haven't had Maura Braun, who's perhaps their best player. So that was just a heartbreak for anyone who's really following the sport of women's college basketball, that Braun believes she's going to be out extended period of time. But you guys say with how Minnesota's looking right now, future definitely bright for this program.
Yeah, and unfortunately she missed the entire last month of February, Vince. We talk about that, tough finish for the Gophers. They went 2-11, largely in part, many would argue to the fact that she wasn't playing.
Porter hits the 3, and it is down to single digits now, 26 seconds left. Minnesota able to get away, will Wisconsin foul? And I think they're content to wave the white flag. Minnesota, a dominant first quarter, 23-4. They will ride it to a 59-50 victory at the Kohl Center. Real impressive stuff from this squad. Minnesota moves to 14-1 on the season. Wisconsin falls to 10-4. Was a fun game.